Good evening, Midnight Streamer here. Excuse me while I get myself 100% in focus. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to keep trying to push content, and this particular journey is almost like swimming through cold water. Hello, viewer. Please comment below. I'd love to know who you are, what you are, and where you are. My name is Ben Streaming Low Key, and this channel has been interesting. Initially, getting in front of the camera or pursuing something that was a bit challenging was like swimming through cold water. It takes that mental push you have to give yourself to just jump in and paddle, 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 paddle. And with what's in front of you, you can't always see where you're trying to get to, but all you know is just one step after the other, paddle, 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 and you're catching your breath and going, and sometimes you feel like stopping the paddling. And guess what happens when you stop paddling when you're trying to swim? You drown. And you have to make that mental connection that where I'm trying to get to, a lot is depending on it. And I just have to keep going and going till you learn to enjoy the paddling. And the cold water, you have to start seeing it as refreshing. It makes you tougher. And you go and you go and you go. And when you're trying to swim through cold water, you don't have time for whining and complaining and be like, oh, this is cold. Oh, I can't do this. You have to be so immersed in paddling that and you keep going and you keep going forward. And keeping this analogy in mind, whenever you're trying to go through something in life like that, tough things, tough environments, you will jump and it'll be cold and it'll bite at you. But you have to be tougher than it. You have to keep going and you paddle and you go and you go and you go. And within the work you put in and that discipline and your power, you will find your freedom. You will find your peace to go forward. Water has a density to it, a tension, and only if you push through it can you go forward. That's a lot like the work environment, a lot like stress. You have to keep pushing and going and going and going and going forward. And eventually, when you've mastered it, you'll be able to float. As long as you keep air in your lungs, you'll be able to sit back and float. And the water will be your domain. And that is the name of the game. So whenever you're in situations like this where you feel like things are holding you back and it feels cold and you have to take a big dive and jump and just go for it, it's a lot like swimming through cold water. You swim and you go and you go. And let's make it even more interesting. Let's make it swimming through cold water at night. And you can't see where the destination is, but you have to stay forward and you can't be lost and going in circles. You'll burn yourself out. Forward, go. Paddle, 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 paddle. Not looking at the people next to you or wondering, oh, I wonder how that person's doing. I wonder this. It's all about you and your swim and where you're going. And you breathe and go, breathe and go. And that's pretty much what I've been doing with my YouTube live streaming. I breathe and I paddle and I go and I go and I go. And you don't worry about it. You can try swim better, paddle a bit harder, but then the fundamentals of it still apply. And eventually, you'll cover quite a distance and even be surprised at yourself that I've gone on and on and on, and still more to go. Because much like opportunity, the sea is vast and almost endless. And waves will push you here and there, but you go and you go and you go. And that's the analogy for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate it. This has been the Infomism World Wild channel. Ben Streaming Low Key here. I'm going to keep trying to keep giving you content. And something else that I've been doing is every time I've been mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, I tell myself that's time you could be be making a video. And the time you spent liking other people's content, you could be making content as well. It's like the water's calling. Dive back in and go. Just swim. Turn that camera on, set it to record, and swim and swim and swim and swim. And I'm going to keep doing it. And thanks again for tuning in. On that note, it's about time to end it. Good luck with your swimming. out there. I'll see you soon.